Anxiety recovery question and answer week number 5, I think it is. Thank you guys for all of your positive reception on Instagram this week. For those of you who don't follow me on Instagram, I started a new daily series called Daily Anxiety Recovery Tips. As the name implies, I upload some new advice for recovering from a period of high anxiety every single day on Instagram. Since I know a lot of accounts do this already, I tried to give some advice that is a little bit off the beaten path. A lot of accounts already talk about deep breathing or forgiving yourself or noticing things about your environment or being mindful, but I wanted to delve a little bit deeper, for example, into the science of anxiety, understanding how adrenaline works and what the interplay is between adrenaline and caffeine, investigating a little more deeply into the anatomy of our brain. And so if that kind of thing interests you, by all means go and follow me on that platform. The link should be on top if you're on Facebook and on bottom if you are on YouTube, as usual. Today's question is something that I wish I had known during my own recovery, and that is it normal to feel especially anxious after exercising? The reason that I wanted to cover this topic is because there's a lot of misinformation around it. A lot of people, including a lot of therapists, assume that because exercise is beneficial for anxiety in the long term, that means that in the short term it is also beneficial. But as we will cover in the video, that is not the case. So to directly answer the question up front, yes, it is absolutely normal to feel especially anxious after exercise, and here is why. As we've reviewed in some of the previous videos, anxiety primarily works on the mechanism of adrenaline. When adrenaline is produced, it causes your blood vessels to constrict. And what this does is it raises your blood pressure and causes blood to move more quickly between your heart, your lungs, and all of your muscles and organs throughout your body. When blood moves more quickly to the muscles and organs, it allows them to go into a kind of overdrive, which is what is responsible for all of the anxious symptoms that we experience. For example, more blood to the lungs more quickly means more rapid breathing. More blood to the heart more quickly means a faster heart rate. Interestingly, adrenaline is not the only thing that raises blood pressure acutely. When we exercise, our blood has to pump blood more energetically to keep up with the activities that we're doing. The effect of this is that during exercise and in a few hours after, blood pressure actually increases temporarily, as does the rate of blood flow to our muscles and organs. This means that just like adrenaline, exercise can cause symptoms of high blood pressure. When we combine the effects of adrenaline and of exercise together, their effect becomes amplified. What this means is that if we already have a lot of adrenaline in our system, causing our blood vessels to constrict, then exercise causes them to further constrict, making the symptoms more intense. This is the reason why it is absolutely normal and expected to feel more intense anxious symptoms during and after exercise. So that brings up the question, should we stop exercising if we're feeling anxious? And the answer, as you may have already guessed, is absolutely not. And the reason why is a little bit tricky. While exercise increases blood pressure in the short term, it actually decreases blood pressure in the long term. The reason for this is that exercise actually causes the same sort of muscle breakdown and then rebuild up in the heart as it does in other organs in the body. If we stick to exercise long term, what this muscle breakdown and buildup actually does is it allows the heart to eventually pump more efficiently. This allows it to pump more blood with less effort per beat. And the end result of this is actually lower blood pressure in the long term. So while exercise might cause some uncomfortable symptoms in the short term, it actually works to counteract the symptoms of adrenaline in the long term. So if it's a question of, should I exercise while I'm anxious? The answer will be absolutely yes. You will thank yourself in the future. I hope that answers your question, anonymous user on Reddit, and I hope that those of you who were curious about this were able to find some pause in the fact that while exercise is uncomfortable for anxiety in the short term, it actually helps in the long term. As always, if you have your own questions, you can ask directly through the link in my subreddit below. Otherwise, I will see you guys next week.